have with us here today Dr. Suresh Ramasubra, who's the head of critical care at Apollo Gleneagles Hospitals, Kolkata. We will talk about accidents and incidents of choking today, which have picked up in these times of COVID, where people are restricted to their homes. This also means that road accidents have probably come down because there are lesser number of vehicles on the road. But so, if you could tell us about the kind of accidents that are happening in homes at the moment.
Right now at homes, we are seeing is basically the number one injury that is causing people to come to the emergency is fall, especially in the elderly. Fall when they're trying to get out from the bed or trying to do things which they're not used to, and falling from beds, falling, tripping over something in the house while they're cleaning, and cut injuries and glass falling on them when they're trying to clean their house. Those are the kind of accidents that we are seeing. As you rightly said, we are not seeing road traffic accidents. We are not, because alcohol is not there, as well as number of people driving on the road is less, and we are also not seeing any industrial trauma because most of the factories are shut. So our majority of trauma is basically home accidents. So which is number one is fall, number two is sprains and ankle, especially ankles, cut injuries, number three, and choking. Not that much, but yes, in children, pediatrics, we've been seeing that because again, as I said, children are at home.
Very, very often people lose their nerve when some sort of accident, be it falls or be it choking happens. What should the first reaction be? How should we assess the amount of damage and what to do?
Okay. So let's look at one at a time. So let's look at fall. So if you fall and you're unconscious, that is a life-threatening emergency. You should call 1066 or any ambulance service and get to the emergency immediately. If you're not unconscious, and then it is only a question of whether you have sustained limb injury and if it is significant or not. You can have a simple bruise which can look very nasty and a lot of swelling, and you can have a fracture where you don't have much of a symptom other than pain. So it is difficult at that particular point. But if you're not able to use your hand, if you're not able to use your limb, or if your pain is disproportionate to the size and it's not subsiding, you should always get a professional help and come to the emergency or get yourself checked up in whichever way it is possible. Second thing about choking is the other thing, especially in children, when they are, especially toddlers, when they are moving around, they can put something into your mouth. But I'll have to be careful that I'm not a pediatric intensivist and emergency specialist, so I have to be careful. But universally, adults, when they choke, they have what is, especially when it's a life-threatening, they have a universal choking sign, which should be recognized, and certain immediate action needs to be taken. So the immediate action is basically the patient should be, you should go behind the patient's back, ask him to bend forward and give 5 thumps on his back till he's able to expectorate to get out the foreign body. If you're choking on something. If that doesn't happen, then you do the Heimlich maneuver where you go around him, put the fist on his umbilicus, and then with the other hand, push the thing inwards and upwards for him to get it out. At any time, this is only for a conscious patient who's cooperative and who has the universal choking sign. And any breathing problem, cough, wheezing that happens after that, and you're still all right, should immediately get attention to the come to the emergency room. In the emergency, we can do a fiber optic bronchoscopy and a laryngoscopy to assess where the foreign body is, and also a rigid bronchoscopy if required to take care of these emergencies.
So when we speak of the universal choking sign, is it something that people should be made aware of? Because when someone chokes, he should have the presence of mind or the prior knowledge to make that sign so that people understand.
Yeah, it's like universal choking sign is called universal because everybody will tell you that as if something is stuck here. Somebody might use one hand, somebody might use two hands, but invariably everybody will come up with that kind of a thing as if there's something stuck here and they want to squeeze it out. So it is called universal choking sign because everybody does some variant of this to express their fact that there is something stuck in their central airways. The American Heart Association, when we teach the BLS courses, we teach this as a universal choking sign, and we teach the police officers, we teach fire, everybody, every first responder about a universal choking sign. And as you're right that this should be disseminated to the lay people also to make a sign when you feel you're choking onto something.
So have you also come across instance of burns? I mean, minor burns maybe which are treated in all hospitals.
Correct. So right now we are not getting the two burns anyway that we get here. Major burns are basically puja related burns where you are or cooking related burns where there's a lady or the gents who's doing the puja, their clothes get caught on fire. As you know that major burns are something which requires to go to a specialized. That means more than 15% of your body surface area is involved. What we are seeing now is basically spillage of hot. People are trying cooking, people are trying to do things which they're not used to, and you're getting into a simple burns where you're scalding, where your hot water is falling onto you, or hot coffee or hot tea or hot food that you're preparing falls onto you. So for that, the first aid is that you first, for the next 5-10 minutes, run that area in cold running water till you see, and then once you see that what has happened after that, if you just see redness, you can just use some local application and get away. If it's anything deep, then you immediately need to come to the emergency again. So that's what we are seeing. We're seeing more of scalding from hot water and hot beverages, which are causing these things.
If someone gets standing through a burn and on the way to the hospital to subside the pain or make it tolerable, what are the things that can be done?
You see, pain is extremely intense in first degree burn because your nerve endings are still intact. So pain is obviously the only thing that is available for you at home is probably a 1 gram of paracetamol that you can take immediately to relieve you of the pain. And when you come into the hospital, we can give you any intravenous and analgesic to take care of it.
Have we had cases of cuts, deep cuts or minor cuts that you have come with?
Correct. Right now, what we are seeing is I think we had two patients who had glass fall onto them and deep cuts into their chest and into the arm, which again eventually coming through the emergency and getting sutured either by the plastics or by the emergency or by other surgical staff, and that's what we are seeing. Glass cut injuries is what we see.
Um, so, what are the other kinds of injuries with which people can, which are happening at the moment, and with which they can come to the hospital?
Yeah. And
With,
this is
with COVID, I mean, in the
era.
era of COVID.
So in the era of COVID, as I said, sports injuries, accidents are down. So what we're seeing is injuries that can happen at home. So you trip on something, something falls on you when you're cleaning stuff or doing things, or as you said, you're trying to cook or you're trying to do things. So we are seeing basically what is called as home injuries or home accidents. And these are generally related to falls, cuts, burns, choking, and things like that, which we just mentioned. What we are seeing is predominantly fall, and what you would predominantly, the minor injuries that you're seeing is sprains, for which you should just ice it and then give it rest, and that should take care of
When someone comes to the hospital, both the patient and those who are accompanying the patient, what sort of protection should they take? Especially because of the COVID going around.
it. I think one of the first is that I think everybody has now accepted, like the way I'm sitting down, when you are sitting, you and me are sitting, we're wearing masks. So everybody should enter the hospital or get out of their house with only wearing a mask, that's for sure. You should declare if there is any fever, cough, or any influenza like illness to all providers, including your vehicle, somebody who is driving you, so that they're aware that you might have, in addition to this accident, you might have fever, cough, because this makes the emergency room and the hospital get prepared to how to react to you, rather than you coming in and then telling, by the way, I also had fever and cough and I felt dizzy and therefore I fell down. So the why you fell down and that history has to be honest and has to be declared whether you're fever. So the precaution is definitely just wear a mask and come into the hospital. But be honest in declaring any fever, cough, or breathlessness.
So because this is the time of the COVID, and it's difficult to travel. It's difficult. I mean, the number of doctors available probably is also not as high as it is during normal times. What would your message be to our listeners when it comes to how to be extra careful? We need to be extra careful, or what are the things to do as a precautionary measure against common incidents like choking and
I think common thing is safety first, and that's all general common sense at house that children should not have anything accessible at ground level, especially toddlers should not have that. Coins, marbles, and all those things should not be loosely around. For elderly people, getting out of bed, since they don't have much of home help and they're trying to get out of bed, going to the toilet, making sure the toilet is dry, and those are the things which will help you. But despite the whatever you say about the lockdown, the emergency medicine and the ICUs and all the hospitals are working, and all the Apollo hospitals are working full time. There is no shortage of doctors to take care of you if you come into the hospital. So the emergency room is always there to take care of such things, whichever if you feel you are needing that.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. It was very informative for all of us to know about that kind of accidents that are happening now and what we can do to stay safe. Thanks once more.
Thank you.